You know the vibes. Welcome back to another episode of the Hoop Genius podcast brought to you by NBA 2K24. It's myself, Moments here, and all week long we've had my brother CT, Chris Thomas, rocking with us, and he's back once more. CT, how you doing, my brother?
See, hey, I'm here. I'm here. Basketball's a beautiful thing.
I,
Let's
I'm
go.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here and watch the games because I'm still waiting for Karl-Anthony Towns to arrive in the conference finals. Dallas Mavericks take
we
3
we
nothing
all
series
are.
lead, 116 to 107. And before we talk about the Mavericks, we're going to have a conversation about Mr. Karl-Anthony Towns, who once self-proclaimed himself as the greatest shooting big man of all time. And when he
Mm,
said that, I remember we did an episode about it, and I said, how dare he say this? Because the greatest shooting big man of all time is Dirk Nowitzki. And tonight,
mm,
in probably the most
mm.
important game of Karl-Anthony Towns' life so far, he was in the arena with Dirk Nowitzki sat courtside, playing against the team which Dirk Nowitzki won a championship with, which has Dirk Nowitzki's silhouette of him shooting his fadeaway on the floor of the arena. And Karl-Anthony Towns shot 0 from 8 from behind the arc. He was minus 12, 14 points, 5 of 18 from the field. He had a stinker. In the fourth quarter of this series,
A stinker.
a
Say it
stinker,
again.
a stinker.
Pick another word.
He had a shocker. He had a
No,
nightmare.
no, it's more like a. Sometimes you gotta be provocative to be profound. What's
Hmm.
the word?
Hmm. See, I
He
said
had a
you tell me, CT.
he had a shitter. Yeah, I don't even curse, but
And it's not the
yo,
first time because in the fourth quarter of this series, he's been 2 of 12 from the field, 1 of 8 from three, and he's been a minus 16. He's been a net negative in the fourth
yeah,
quarter of all 3 games so
yeah,
far. And he said in an interview after the game, and this is what I really want to get your opinion on because you work out NBA guys one on one all the time. So
mm,
he said that right now in the conference finals, he's putting up 1,500 shots per day. Now, Draymond, Kenny, those guys said it's impossible. He's not doing that. Is Karl-Anthony Towns telling the truth from your experience of working out with NBA players?
I hope he is. I know he who he works with, but if that's the case, he should be putting up 2,000 shots per day with his trainer of note. Otherwise, his trainer of note is in trouble. Like Zion Williamson's trainer got fired,
Yep.
but then Karl-Anthony Towns' game is in trouble if he's going to put his trainer under the bus because he can't hit shots
Well, do you know
in
what worried
game.
me? Do you know what worried me about that? I speak to many great three-point shooters. I know quite a few of when you look at the
Mm,
NBA's all-time three-point shooting list. I've spoken to almost the entire list. And you know the one thing that they tell me that's different to what Karl-Anthony Towns said tonight? They never talk about how many shots they take. They only tell me how many shots they make. When I
say
say
it.
to
Say
Ray
whoa, whoa,
Allen,
whoa, whoa.
when I
Say
say
it
to
one
Jamal
more
Crawford,
time again. Say it one more time slowly
when I
for the
say to the
audience.
best shooters of all time, how many shots a day do you take? They say, Mo, I don't take shots. I make shots. I make
Bang,
1,000 shots a day. I make 500 shots
bang.
a day, and I don't leave until the job's done. I don't even count how many times it takes me to get there. I only count makes. And then
Mm.
some players, they don't even count makes. They only count swishes. If the ball isn't swished, they don't count it. And Steph Curry, in fact, I'll give you guys a little nugget. He has a technology which has a tracker inside the basketball and a tracker inside the rim. And he can track how close the center of the basketball is to the center of the rim. And if it's not close enough, he goes and does his shooting again.
Forget Seth Curry. Like he's the god.
But Karl-Anthony Towns calls himself the best
But
shooting big man of all
I'm gonna
time.
tell you the truth be told. In my training,
Mm.
and everybody that's done shooting and offensive skill workouts
And I'm not
with
going to say
me,
names, but CT has shot some of the CT works out some of the guys who lead the league or have led the league in 3-point percentage. I'm not saying who because that's his
uh,
business, but
doesn't matter. But lead league, lead college, lead high school, lead their level. It comes down to swishes are swishes, and It is or it's not. And all my players know, if you have to ask, no. But you know when you switched a free throw, switched a three, switched a shot to get out of the rep, to get out of the set, to get out of the workout. And we've done this for years. So, it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, you got to be strategic if you're going to be so skilled at shooting. You can't be like everybody else. And everybody else can make shots, but how do you make shots?
Hey, everyone in the NBA can make shots. This is about perfecting your craft. This is about being greater than good. Okay. But anyway, that's Karl-Anthony Towns. Let's talk about the game in general, because what a game it was for the Mavericks. Kyrie and Luka each had 33 points. And the big concern, though, for Dallas is Derek Lively was playing amazing basketball. You even sent me a clip of the game while it was on of his passing out of the short roll when they try and blitz on the pick and roll. And for you guys who don't understand what that means when they throw two defenders at Luka Doncic and he gives the ball up over the top to Derek Lively, he makes great decisions of passing to the open man. Now, he got injured in this game. He got kneed in the back of the head unintentionally by Karl-Anthony Towns. And it was interesting to me that as soon as Lively went out, because he went back to the locker room, he did not return. He's got a neck sprain. They announced it after the game. The Timberwolves immediately went into a zone.
Yeah.
Because they know they don't have the big man. And this is a key. If you're playing against a zone, you have a big man in the middle of the court on the free throw line, able to make those passes. You can pick apart the zone. Yeah, so I like that adjustment from the Timberwolves. However, they did not account for Daniel Gafford having an amazing game. Now, his stat sheet, 5 points. 3 rebounds, 3 blocks. It's not the most impressive stat sheet in the world. But his timely play, his contested of shot, he was playing amazing basketball. And this is why he can't just go on the stat sheet.
Acknowledge that dude's contribution on court, in game, when he was on the court. Like, that dude's amazing. And, I've killed him with, man, you got to be offensively productive to help Ant out, while Ant ain't being Ant, offensively aggressive. But man,
you're talking about Daniel Gafford.
Yeah, but all the others for the Timberwolves.
Yeah, the Timberwolves bigs,
they gotta pick up when. And if Anthony Edwards, like I told you before, if Anthony Edwards ain't going to be that dude, they're going to suffer. They're going to lose.
He said before the game that he's going to be putting up a lot of shots tonight. He said he's going to be really aggressive. He finished with 26 points. It took him 24 shots to get there. But he just didn't get anything from his teammates. Rudy Gobert, 9 points.
He needs 50, bro.
That's what I tweeted out earlier today. I said he's got to have a 50 piece.
He needs 50.
Jaden McDaniels, 3 or 4. Good shooting on the road, 15 points. I've seen Nikhil Alexander-Walker finally make a 3, but he only finished with 3. Kyle Anderson gave them 10 off the bench. Naz Reid gave them 14 off the bench. Conley gave them 16, but it just wasn't enough. The Mavericks, Derek Jones gave them 11. He was 3 of 3 from downtown. Like I said, the role players are going to hit shots when they go home.
They're getting steady from the others. I told you last night, Anthony Edwards, you need to be that dude. You need to drag them to the finish line. And he didn't do it. He can't do it. It's a different level for what he's experienced to.
And this is another close game. It's another close game. The Timberwolves could actually be 3-0 up in this series, right? But tonight they had more field goals, more rebounds, more assists, more points in the paint, more second chance points, fewer turnovers, and they still lost by 9 points. Do you know why?
Drag your team to the finish line. Anthony Edwards.
It was the elite shot making of Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, and the elite playmaking when they found Gafford for the and one lob.
Say it one more time slowly.
The elite shot making from Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic, and the elite playmaking which got Gafford the and one at the end of the game, which just showed the difference. Maybe it's experience because these guys Luka and Kyrie have been in these situations.
And they experience.
And maybe it's just the level that Ant's not.
That's what I told you. It's the conference finals. It's the NBA playoff semifinals. It's the finals about to be. the capture of the moment of you could end up in the final to win the chip. Boys define their game and they make their name in this moment. And that's what Kyrie and especially Luka, but that's what they do. So you don't think they realize the moment, and unfortunately for the Timberwolves, they don't realize the moment because they haven't been in the moment. They're too young, and Anthony Edwards, as good as he is, he just doesn't understand. It's a different level right now.
Anthony Edwards only had 4 points in the fourth quarter by my count.
It's just a different level.
The Mavs closed the game on a
bro,
13-3 run.
yeah, right. A different level. Like I keep trying to tell the players I work with, like, the preseason, in season, all season training is different. I want to go gorilla, blah, 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 blah. All right, you want to do that in preseason? Okay, let's do that. But in season, here's what you need per what you're presented with, per your organization. And that's college, that's pro, that's high school. But then I try to keep it realistic as you got to be in these workouts doing your most, presenting your most, just because it doesn't matter what your level. But your interest, your energy, and your effort means everything per workout.
Absolutely. But you say the Timberwolves are young, right? Karl-Anthony Towns is 28 years old. He's been in the league a long time. But over his last 5 games, he's averaging 15.6 points. He's shooting 35%. He's shooting 12.5% from three. And he's only getting 7.2 points in the paint per game. And I'm not even going to repeat myself. We all know what Karl-Anthony Towns needs to do. You're playing against a team that plays a one big lineup. You're playing two bigs. Why are you playing two bigs if at least one of them is not taking advantage of the size mismatch? I see possessions where he just stands in the corner.
Right.
Brother, you're the number one pick in the draft. You're supposed to be the guy.
That's called non-productive, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's called what are we doing? So they got to consider, Minnesota, who's built for Denver, to defeat Denver, mission accomplished. But going forward is they can't play either of their bigs.
Do you think they should start Naz Reid?
They got to consider it because he's the one that can consistently play D and hit shots.
Mm-hmm. But the NBA is so political. When you're paying those guys that level of money, it's very hard for organizations to allow their coach to bench those max players.
That's called tough decision making. That's called you want to move on or not. That's called you want to keep your job or not. That's called hey yo, hey, doesn't matter your salary, but this is what it is. Analytics shows Karl-Anthony Towns needs to be on the court. Naz Reid needs to be on the court. And Rudy Gobert,
Well, the analytics actually favor Rudy Gobert, but the analytics are heavily skewed. There's a lot of problems with just going on the numbers,
but
right?
the analytics show he needs to be on the court, except for when in the game you want Rudy Gobert at the perimeter defending versus help side around the rim. It's a different scenario.
Let me ask you this, because I noticed this today. The Mavs were making a targeted effort to go against Rudy Gobert, the defense player of the year. Even Jaden Hardy, who had a great game off the bench, shout out to Jaden Hardy, he was going at Rudy Gobert. Now, my question is this. Why are the Minnesota Timberwolves not singling out Luka Doncic and going at him on the other side of the court? He's clearly hobbled. He was even question marked whether he was going to play today's game or not. He was going to go through warm-ups and see how he felt.
Thank you. And then I say, they all understand he offers defense. Like when he actually wants to play defense, he's a big body. He's physical. You ain't gonna move him. He can sustain his space. So, that's why I feel the answer is like I really don't test him too much because at the end of the day, he actually can play D. He's a real baller. And I keep telling people it ain't his offense that's amazing, Luka Magic. He actually can put a stop. When you go through the tape, the video, he was the one stopping James Harden. He was the one stopping
Paul George.
Everybody in the West.
OKC
Watch
series.
him
This
on
series.
watch him on versus Phoenix.
Mm.
He guarded everybody, and it's like, yeah, you keep talking about he don't play D, except for he gets stops. So
Absolutely.
I just feel, he's underrated in that, but he should be underrated because it ain't like he plays defense every possession.
Yeah. Well, the Timberwolves are now in a 3-0 hole. Teams are 154-0 when going up 3-0 in a series. Another team that's down 3-0 is the Indiana Pacers. Now, I find game 3 is really interesting because if you're down 2-0, it's the battle of can team A, who's up 2-0, put another dagger into this team and establish their dominance, or will the will to survive win out? When you get to a game 4 and it's a 3-0 lead, here's the question you're faced with. Do we really want to go out there to try and win 4 games in a row?
Yes.
Or do we want to start our summer holiday tomorrow, go to Cancun, go to Turks and Caicos, and chill with our families and all of that? Because are you realistically going to win 4 straight games? It takes a special team to go and win 4 straight games. So I've seen the Celtics force to game 7. I can't even think of many teams that have forced to game 7 after being down 3-0.
But hey, I live in Indy. I'm not a Pacer fan in particular, but I love me some NBA basketball. So I respect what the 6th seed has accomplished to date. They shouldn't even be in the series, truthfully, right now.
Well, they're not. They're down 3-0.
But they should. I mean, it is what it is. They need to come out with coach was telling, we're gonna come at him. We're going at him. All force is like, okay, sounds good. So he's not presenting a case present until maybe next game Monday night, tonight.
Do you know something that made me laugh? I seen an interview of Rick Carlisle, Pacers coach, and he was really angry that the NBA is planning a trophy celebration for the Celtics if they win the Eastern Conference. And he's like, I found out and I was so angry and the players were angry. And I'm like, well, what do you expect the NBA to do? The Celtics are up 3-0. This is a necessary precaution that happens in every elimination game ever. There are NBA Finals games where they have confetti and the trophy and everything ready. And if the team loses, then they hold on to it for the next game. And I don't know. I've seen a couple of interview clips from Rick Carlisle.
He's just trying to use that in anything as motivation to tell his team, because their leader, Halliburton, is not going to be available. And everybody else, the others, as Charles and Shaq relate to, need to play above board. But it's like, it's not the others. It's like, Pascal, bro, if you wanna go game 5, it's on you. Just like tonight, what I told you, Anthony Edwards. If you want to extend this, if you want to have a chance, it's on you.
Do you know what's really disappointing about tonight? And the one thing that disappointed me from Anthony Edwards is post game. They asked him what stands out to him from this game, and he says they had 31 free throws and we had 17. And I just find when players blame the refs and blame the free throw disparity, I don't like that. And then the other thing that disappointed me, the post-game press conference, on the podium was Anthony Edwards, Kyle Anderson, and Mike Conley. I'm sorry. But Karl-Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, where are you? Go and face the music.
Yes.
You be the leaders of the team. You're older. You're the veterans on this team. I get it, Mike Conley, but he's not the star of this team. He's not a max contract player.
No, Mike Conley got a community award. Uh, it, Rudy Gobert, defensive player of the year. That's significant. Own that.
Yep.
Accept that. But then you can't shy away from any post game, win or lose, which that's going to add to why the league or the narrative for him is, yeah, Rudy Gobert, negative.
Let me ask you, which team has a better chance of forcing the game 5? Minnesota or Indiana?
Neither.
Because India
Neither
playing at
team has
home,
a chance. Neither
but the
team
Wolves are
has a
better than they're
chance.
playing on the road.
The,
You think we're seeing 2
Halliburton,
sweeps? I don't think we've ever seen 2 sweeps in the conference finals
Halliburton
before.
is run out of talent, and Indiana played their best games, game 1 and game 3, and lost. And Boston played not their best games, both game 1 and game 3, game 2 even, and lost. Boston been coasting. That's their problem. So, and then Bavs, T-Wolves, and I call them T-Pups, they're just so young enough, dumb enough. They're
But they're
not
not
able
that.
to meet their
They've just got
moment.
1 or 2 young guys. My thing is like you're saying they're young, but they're not
they're
young. Like
hanging on
Luca
Anthony.
is young, but he's showing more leadership and more poise than
But
Rudy Gobert
the
and
T
Karl-Anthony
Wolves,
Towns.
the T Wolves hanging on a 22-year-old, take over the face of the program. They were hanging on Cat, and they brought in some vets. They got Mike Conley, they got Naz Reid, they got some nice pieces, but their face of the program is Anthony Edwards, and he's 22, and he hasn't
And Naz
been
Reid's
in the
only
moment.
24. And that's arguably their 2 best players.
Yeah, but their best player, their franchise, has not been in this moment. And until he meets this moment, which is not this year, which I already talked about, is what it is. He'll beat this moment next year because he's got to the moment. And what I expected from him tonight, come out aggressive. He came out aggressive, but it's not sustainable when the other team is able to concept and scheme. And yeah, we're not going to let you have hands on ball all night.
And it's also like, why are they not taking the ball out of Luca's hands defensively? They're still guarding him one-on-one, and it's baffling to me. I've not seen many adjustments from the Timberwolves side of things, and we'll wait to see if we see that in the next game, and we'll see what the Indiana Pacers can do tonight as the Boston Celtics have the chance to book their place in the NBA Finals. So make sure you do that and subscribe to the Hoop Genius podcast, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcast from, as we'll be back tomorrow breaking down the action from Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Boston Celtics and Indiana Pacers, and then previewing Game 4 between the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. And BJ should be back tomorrow, so we'll have a whole gang here. So let's get it cracking. That's right. He called me today. He stopped in London for like 30 minutes to change planes. And I said, come on, bro. How you stopping in my city for 30 minutes, bro? You got to pull up.
So I feel that. Hey, BJ, appreciate you allowing me to take your seat. Mo, I allow you the privilege of you doing your thing, bro. And I want you to do your thing on such a bigger level with this NBA streaming TV contract. Man, get yours.
I'm trying,
Please
brother.
get yours.
I'm trying. NBC, Amazon, if you're watching, you just holler at me.
Man, all of them. And
I'm open for business. Hopefully, we can bring the whole gang through.
I'm here with you. You know, I'm always here with you.
Yes,
but
sir.
I support you and BJ in this podcast in particular, and none other, because this is basketball real.
My brother, and we support you right back. It's all love. Make sure you guys go and show CT some love on social media. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode. And until next time, you guys know what it is. Get buckets.